This video is brought to you by Paperlike. Recently, Logitech pleasantly surprised us with their new Folio touch keyboard and trackpad case for iPad Pro 11-inch. For right now, there's no 12.9-inch version. It is a true competitor or alternative to the Magic Keyboard, and it's nearly half the cost. So in this video, I thought I would compare them head to head to see if you should, save your money and go with the Folio Touch, or if you should, be bougie and spend quite a bit more on the Magic Keyboard. But before we continue here, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like, comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, as the YouTube algorithm likes that and will help push my content to more people. And if you are a recurring viewer, go ahead and click the bell icon and enable all notifications. It does help the channel out a lot. So here we have both of these cases. If I haven't already said it, the Folio Touch goes for $160 on Apple's website, whereas the Magic Keyboard goes for normally $300, sometimes $280 with education pricing. So it's basically twice the cost. And something to keep in mind is that both of these cases offer very similar functionality. You have a keyboard similarly sized, and of course a trackpad experience with glass, which is pretty nice, and I'll touch on this a bit later. But of course there are numerous differences that I want to highlight here, because these cases are definitely not the same, although once again they do offer similar functionality. First up, let's talk about the materials used in their designs. Folio Touch makes use of this nice fabric canvas type material here, and some rubber on the case as well. This also goes to the back, where you can find this sort of surface style kickstand, which I will talk about in a bit here. And then on the Magic Keyboard, you get this soft touch Apple rubber, which is pretty much present in the inside, on the bottom, and on the top here, which does get a little bit dirty. I did talk about this in my review. That's one thing I don't like about this material, but other than that, it does feel pretty nice. As for the keyboard material, both have nice quality feeling plastic. I would say that they feel very similar, although Apple's, I don't know, just feels a little bit better to me. Maybe that's because I like the key style better, which I'll talk about here. This feels exactly like something you could find on a MacBook. This feels like, I don't know, 95% there, so pretty good here. And as you can notice, the keys are a bit more square. As for the materials used for the trackpads, both of them are glass, and both of them offer really clicky, nice experiences here. Both are similar in size as well. The Folio's is just a bit taller. Another thing to note is how you attach your iPad. With the Magic Keyboard, you just sort of let it attach via the magnets here. Very easy, and you can remove it very easily as well. With the Folio Touch, once your iPad is in, you're probably going to want to leave it there. It's easy to install and easy to take out, but this is more of a sedentary permanent setting for your iPad, so it really doesn't leave the case here, because as you can see, you can just fold this keyboard around to use it like a tablet here, whereas with the Magic Keyboard, you take your iPad out and you just set it on a surface and just move your keyboard off to the side. Oh, and something I forgot to touch on, I'm whispering at 3:51 a.m. Fun fact, the Folio Touch is quite a bit thicker than the Magic Keyboard, so keep that in mind. It is bulkier, so if that's going to bother you, then you might want to spend extra and get the Magic Keyboard, but if you don't really care, then stick around to hear more positive aspects about it. Another distinction is with inputs, or the lack thereof. With the Folio Touch, you do have a little smart connector port, just like you have on the Magic Keyboard case. However, unlike the Magic Keyboard case, you don't have an additional USB Type-C port for charging. The Magic Keyboard does. You cannot transfer any data, but you can plug in, and this is nice for when you are by an outlet that isn't necessarily by or on the side of the USB Type-C connector on your iPad. So I said this in my review, it's a very nice feature, although it's not necessary, I would say. It's just a nice little addition. I wouldn't say it's a reason to go for this over this necessarily, because we're going to talk about keyboard and typing experience in a minute. And honestly, let's segue into the typing experience on here. Like I said in my initial video on this product, I'm impressed with this keyboard. It's a bit smaller than I would like, but I can say the same about the Magic Keyboard. I do prefer my 12.9-inch with the Magic Keyboard for sure, because those keys seem to be a bit bigger or a bit more spaced out, or more like a MacBook's. But yeah, I can get typing work done on here no problem. Once again, the plastic material is very nice. It doesn't feel cheap like some of the drier plastics found in cheaper keyboard cases. And something nice about this keyboard is that it has a function row, which is completely absent with the Magic Keyboard. You get a home button, brightness toggles, a keyboard toggle, a search toggle. You have a backlit toggle as well. Both of these keyboards are backlit. I might demo that in a minute, but just know that they are. And you get media controls, volume, and of course a lock key. And yeah, once again, it's completely absent with the Magic Keyboard here. And while both offer really great typing experiences, I don't know, I have to say I like the Magic Keyboard just a bit better. This might not be totally rational, but I don't know. This keyboard feels more like that of a Mac, and I'm a Mac user. I use an iMac every day, or a MacBook Air, or MacBook Pro. So because of that, I do enjoy this keyboard a little bit more. I like the font better. I think that the keys are slightly bigger, maybe I'm wrong, and the travel sounds better and feels a bit better. But like I said here, you have a great typing experience with this Folio Touch. I wouldn't necessarily buy one over the other for the typing experience, but if you are someone who likes using a Mac or has had a Mac in the past, I don't know, this just has a little bit of an extra edge, I would say. I don't want to say it's better, but it definitely, I think, looks better and feels a bit better. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I would say the Folio Touch's typing experience is like 90%, 95% of that compared to the Magic Keyboard here. But before we continue with this comparison, I have a brief message from our video sponsor, Paperlike. And this is my daily driver iPad Pro 12.9-inch. And this screen protector from them has really made my note-taking and sometimes sketching experience a lot more intuitive and natural feeling. Basically, it brings a paper-like texture to the surface of your iPad Pro. And let's open up GoodNotes 5, for example. This is how I take notes, or excuse me, write my schedule every day, and I also take notes during college. As you can see, I can check off some things on my list. I attended to emails, I cleaned up my room, I have to return a package, so that will happen tomorrow. I was going to install this, but I didn't. I'm shooting this video right now, and I have to do this tomorrow. But as you can see here, I can make my schedule for Sunday. And as I write here, it just feels like I'm writing on paper. It's a really great experience. It reminds me of writing in a composition notebook, which is what I did for years before. So yeah, if you're somebody who does a lot of note-taking and handwriting and or sketching and you want a paper-like experience, then buy a paper-like screen protector. I'll leave a link in the video description. As for the trackpad experience, of course, it's going to be really amazing, you know, the best it can be with a Magic Keyboard, because this is Apple hardware. It's very clicky, it's big enough to get some work done and to, you know, highlight text and whatever, and I'll transfer my iPad over to the Folio Touch to demo the trackpad on here. And what's great about this case is that Apple gave Logitech the same drivers used with the Magic Keyboard, so the trackpad is not half-baked like some other cases that I've tried, like Bridge, so you get all the nice gestures and everything. It might be a bit more choppy, although I will say I have not downloaded the apps, but for the most part, all of the gestures work right out of the box. 95% is good, I would say, for scrolling and highlighting text, for example, so I can, you know, like do that right in this URL bar. It's perfect, really, and you get similar travel and clickiness and this nice glass texture that you get with the Magic Keyboard. So that's, like, I think one of the most important parts about buying this case. You're not necessarily buying it for the keyboard because there's so many other keyboard cases out there. You're buying it for the trackpad experience, and I would say it's almost the same, if not identical, compared to that of the Magic Keyboard for about half of the cost. Another important aspect is like using this in your lap. People said, how do these compare? And I'll just be straightforward. I think the Magic Keyboard offers a better in-lap experience because your iPad is floating by itself. You don't need to have a kickstand out further on your knees to make your iPad stand up. Although the tilt function, especially on a table with the Folio Touch, is so much better. You can make it go pretty low and pretty high. However, with the Magic Keyboard, this tilt is pretty much all you get, and while you don't have to push this case farther out or farther inward, excuse me, to make your iPad prop up, you just get more of a limited tilt, like I said, which is something that I complained about in my Magic Keyboard review. So I would say the tilt aspect of this case is better, but the Magic Keyboard is more comfortable to use in your lap. And if you're somebody on the go more often, I don't know, maybe you'll enjoy that. But if you're somebody who's at a table often, or if you're not always sitting on a train or whatever, and you don't want to spend as much money, this can still work. It's just less comfortable in my humble opinion. But at the end of the day, which one should you buy here? Well, I would say for most people looking for a trackpad and keyboard experience with their iPad Pro 11-inch, this is going to do. I'm really happy with it. It's a nicely built product. It has a really beautiful trackpad. That's like the most important aspect I would say here. Yes, it's not as comfortable in your lap, but you do get a function row of keys, and it seems durable, and just an overall great experience, almost half the cost. The Magic Keyboard, on the other hand, does have some advantages. It does have the fancy floating aspect and the ability to just, you know, attach your iPad and take it off whenever you'd like easily. It has a bit better of a keyboard, I think more of a MacBook-like keyboard. The trackpad out of the box might be a bit more smooth because, you know, Apple hardware, Apple drivers, and you do get a charging port on here as well. But with this in existence, and after using this and seeing how similar the trackpad experience is, I think that this is now a bit overpriced. If Apple was selling this for like $229, maybe I could be more on board with recommending it to most people. However, because this is $160, I think it's quite a steal, especially, you know, once again, with the trackpad experience that it offers. So I would say for most people, this is the case you're going to want to buy. Save your money. If you want to buy the Apple Pencil as well with your brand new iPad, then I would buy this and an Apple Pencil for the same cost that you would pay for this whole case here. But maybe you're wondering, Noah, what do you use every day? Well, I have a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is out of the frame right now, and I do have it in the bigger Magic Keyboard that fits it. And I prefer this case a little bit more, you know, in my personal usage, because I can just take my iPad off and take notes and put it back on. And I also like the keyboard and the way it sits in my lap a bit better as well. And this charging port is pretty convenient. But that's just me. Keep in mind, tech is my profession and hobby and passion. You know, I have this stuff lying around because I have to. This is my job. So keep that in mind. Take a big grain of salt there. And once again, I'm just going to end this video saying this is just the better value, hands down. But if you like this better, then spend the extra money. You will really enjoy this case as well. And that about wraps things up here. I hope this video was helpful. Once again, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like, comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. I have an iPad Pro video editing video coming up soon where I'm going to be demoing LumaFusion and seeing if I, a Mac user, can switch to, you know, iPad Pro for my workflow. So stay tuned for that. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.